Okay, so now it's November 28th of 2023. I'm uploading the video, and so this is what I recorded yesterday on November 27th of 23. Okay, just listen. It's only for a couple of minutes more. So now it is, you can see that November 27th of 2023. Okay. Still debating whether I should put up this video or not. Right? But besides that point, YouTube doesn't like me warning you. No. That was done on November 17th, so it's 10 days ago. 58 views now. Okay, and then it went up to 59 last night. It went up to 59 views last night. Okay. It was at 53, then they dropped it to 48, and now it's creeped back up to 58. And then it went up to 59. But I don't expect it to stay there. This one down here, Charney family and Shimei Charney, no justice, no peace, right? November 10th. It's at 75 now. Then it went up to 78 or 79. It was something like that, but I didn't record it, right? But they're messing with this one too, right? Okay, hold on. All right. Yeah. Now we're on the next day. YouTube doesn't like me warning you. They brought it down to 56, so it went up to 58. Now it's back down to 56. This one went up. You seen it was 78. Then it went up to 79, and they brought it back down to 73. You see how they're fucking with me all the time, people? So that petition, seriously, that petition, I wouldn't be surprised. Same stupid shit. Okay, so yeah, it's 28th today of November of 2023, right? All right. So I just want to do a correction here. I caught it when I was converting over the video that I made a mistake. I didn't see it correctly because we know my eyes don't work very right. We did see that they had $1 off. It's on sale right now for the week. Okay, so for $7 you get 750 grams of sun-made raisins. You're looking anywhere from $6.99 to $9.99 depending on the store for this particular product. Now, where I made the mistake was in the ingredients. If you notice, all it says is raisins. It does not say any kind of oil, sunflower, none of that. So, in my opinion, based on what I know about raisins with sunflower oil, I would recommend, if you are looking to store raisins for any length of time, that you buy this particular product as is, in light of them listing only raisins as the ingredient. And you will have much more success having them for long term versus raisins that are coated with sunflower oil or with vegetable oil. However, because I did have a bag of the Sultana raisins with the palm oil, which is now going to be uploaded after the one that I'm converting right now, which you'll see before you see this one. That one, oh my Lord, this site is so fickle, man. It's such a fickle site. That one, doesn't, the one I have with the Sultana no-name raisins from Canadian Superstore has palm oil in it. They sell it in 750 grams for $8, which is quite expensive. And then they have the club size right here, which is 2K, which is what I've got. So, but they're not using palm oil anymore. They're using sunflower oil. which will make your,
There is no answer.
yeah, 2K Sultana raisins, which I have with the palm oil, which are not rancid. The palm oil did not go rancid after a period of years sitting in a bucket, whereas these ones now, instead of using palm oil, they're using sunflower oil. So if you're looking to store for a long period of time, I would, in my opinion, steer away from those. And before you invest your money into that, thinking you're getting value for your money, I'd go out of my way to spend an extra dollar or two per pack to get this one, whether on sale or not on sale, where it's listed with just plain old simple raisins. Okay? And if you're looking for organic, in my mind, that's organic without the sunflower oil, because I'm still satisfied with the raisins that I have in the house that don't have oils on them, regardless of how old they are. Okay? So if you can't afford $22 for 2 pounds of organic raisins because you're trying to avoid oils on them, you can still find them without oil, assuming that the company is telling the truth, with the brand Sunmade. So that is the correction. The other correction, because, you know, I forget, right? My brain is not a computer. I'm not AI here, right? The other correction, there's a difference between dates and prunes. Dates, you can store, whether vacuum sealed, if they're really gooey and gummy and sticky, no, I wouldn't do that. I'd put them in a glass container. I would avoid plastic. Punch them. You have two choices. You can punch them down really hard and tight to try and break up the air pockets in the event of there's a little bit of water, moisture in there that could be a conductor for mold. Or you can put them in there loosely and hope that they'll dry out a little bit and not be so gooey. Because it's, you know, when you're ordering in bulk 35 pounds from a company, you don't know what you're going to get until they show up at the door. And I ordered 2 times date from the same company, and both boxes were different. In terms of, one was more dry like a normal date, where the other one was more gummy and gooey, which I wasn't happy with, but it was already here. And I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do with those? So I looked online, you know, push them down tight. I tried to do that as best as I could. And because I had already done a bunch of raisins and a bunch of dates, you know, several boxes of dates, and I jarred them all up, or maybe vacuum sealed, I don't know. I'd have to go into my videos, right? And, you know, one jar I thought, well, I'm going to just see and put them in loosely and see what happens, see if they'll dry out. So, and then, of course, the raisins came in, different packs of raisins from different companies, and the ones with the sunflower oil, I can tell you, I was not impressed. I don't like them. I'm not looking forward to using them, but I wasn't in the mood to be throwing out whatever, how much money I paid for them, so I jarred them up anyway, and I thought I'd cross that bridge to it when I got to it in terms of what I was going to do with them. And I've been thinking in the back of my mind, every now and then they cross my mind, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to blanch them before I use them to wash off the oil. So, but when it comes to prunes, you can't do that. And this is a correction for the video when I was talking about prunes as we were going through them, because I'm converting videos over now. Prunes, the ones that are in the previous videos to this, were in a bucket in a bag, and I took a bite. Obviously it didn't kill me, you can see that. We don't know how long those prunes sat there in the bag. The bag started to vacuum seal, and as it was vacuum sealing, the juice of the prunes started to pull in the bag, right, as gravity, right? The problem with those prunes, as they sell them in stores, they use a plum, like the plum, that tree that grows out in my front yard, because I have them, right? And they're a fickle plum. If you don't pick them at the right time, where they're at their optimal sweetness, you're going to get a bland plum. So when I bit into the prune that was in the bag, in the bucket for who knows how long, obviously I didn't see any mold, so I wasn't too concerned about it. I wasn't concerned about botulism, that's for sure. If it was completely spoiled, you would have seen it, and definitely I wouldn't have tasted it. So I wasn't concerned. I wasn't concerned about botulism because the environment wasn't conducive for botulism to live in. Botulism, food botulism, that is in a non-oxygenated environment, like a canned jar of food, right? Or a bunch of moist dates in a jar with an oxygen absorber. Then in that situation, you'd remove the oxygen, and because the dates are so moist, you could produce botulism. So I wasn't concerned about the prunes having botulism in them. I didn't see the mold, so I wasn't concerned about mold. And if it would have been infected with bacteria, you would have clearly seen that through the rotting of the food, right? When something rots, it develops bacteria. But when juice pools in combination with natural sugars, the sugar becomes the natural preservative, so therefore I took a bite. But it wasn't sweet. It was bland. And for what it was worth, it wasn't worth keeping. Because, one, I'm not desperate for food. And, right? And two, it wasn't anything that I wanted to cook with. But then the next day or whatever, I'm thinking, and I'm like, okay, so, what's wrong here? Like, there's more to tell. I just don't know how to put it into words yet. But then the more I thought about it, the more I equated it with my fickle tree, with my plums, that if you don't pick the plum at the right time, it's not going to be that sweet. So that's why when I bit into it, it wasn't that sweet, because that particular plum itself is not a very sweet plum unless you get it at that right particular ripeness. And that's extremely hard to do, because I know I get tons of those things. Can't give them away fast enough. Even my landlady is fickle with them because they're not as sweet as she'd like them to be. And if I can, I cut some slack because I can them with a light syrup or a medium syrup, which brings in extra sugar, so it should be palatable to eat them. I haven't even opened up a jar yet, but I bet you there'd be real. I got one in my fridge. Just haven't done it yet. So anyway, that's why they tasted the way they were. They were bland. Bland. And just for the simple fact that they sat there for so long, and it wasn't anything of, like, great monetary value, I didn't feel like I was losing out so much, per se, by putting them into the compost pile. For all I know, the raccoons could have found them, because Andre just came across Matilda with one of her babies hiding out in one of my little sheds out here, in Mr. Lace's cat house. She moved into Mr. Lace's cat house, the old hen house, the rooster, Mr. Lace's coop. Right. And she's living in there. So I bet you her and her baby are eating those old prunes, to which I'm not worried. It's not gonna kill the raccoons. If anything, they'll be in their glory because they're starving out there, because there's not very much food for them. That's why they hibernate and live in my yard. So, but when it comes to storing prunes, no, you're not supposed to keep them in their original bag like the good old days. And throw them in a bucket and throw them in the pantry and forget about them for 8 years. No, you're not supposed to do that. You can do that with dates. You can do that with raisins. And obviously, the better container that you put those things in, the better the result, right? Do what you got to do, right? But for prunes, no. when I ordered prunes from Organic Matters and I was doing my little, okay, how do I store this so, I get my amount of time, blah, blah, blah. If I remember correctly, and I do remember correctly because I have a jar. It's a 1.9 liter size jar downstairs in Auntie Shemay's room in the fridge. There might be even 2 jars there. I know there's one for sure that has prunes in it. So I learnt my lesson. The second time I bought prunes is just when I got into the bucket, because you have to remember, I'm overwhelmed, people, with my eyesight. Like, you don't even know. Like, I really just have to ground myself with staying focused, positive, productive, and looking forward without too much fear as to what's in front of me and what I have to face. So my brain doesn't work as quickly as it used to, and sometimes I forget things. So I forgot that prunes actually have to go in the fridge, but I didn't learn that until after I bought the prunes last year, or whenever it was when I bought the dates, the raisins, and all this other crap. Just like when the first time I got raisins, I put them in a bucket, I put them there, they sat and whatever, and then I got more raisins, and I thought, okay, I got like big boxes of raisins, 2 or 3 boxes, blah, right? And now I'm reading, and I'm like, okay, and they're coming in kind of smelling like sunflower oil, and I'm like, ugh. Right, and I'm comparing it to what I've got over there that's been sitting in the bucket for 12 years, and nothing is adding up. But you're right. So yeah. So if you're gonna do prunes, I wouldn't go gung ho with them, because even in the fridge, apparently, quote unquote, they don't last as long as other foods like that. Now I've got some in Auntie Shemay's fridge that's been there for quite a long time. Honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with them, because Auntie Shemay's fridge holds a really, because we don't open it all the time, right? So it holds a really pretty steady temperature, and things don't spoil very fast in it. And the reason I say I don't think they're bad is because if those things that I did in the video that were in the bucket in a bag could last that long and not technically spoil where it would make you sick to eat it, then the ones that are in a jar in Auntie Shemay's fridge, from the time I packaged the jar, put them in the fridge, I'm sure they're perfectly fine. So if you're going to buy prunes, don't buy a whole bunch. Just buy a few jars, pack them up, put them, enough to fill up a few jars, pack them up, put them in your fridge, and use them at your convenience. And then once your 2 or 3 jars or whatever are done with, then replenish. But don't be buying pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds like I did with the raisins. Right? I bought a lot of raisins in poundage. I bought a lot of dates for sure in poundage. I got 2 different types of dates from the same company, thinking I was going to get the same date, but I didn't. One was dry, one was moister. So if you're unsure how to store these things long term, because that's why you're buying it, just read. Go online and read and compare. And when you come across videos like mine that just give you little bits of information that goes into your short-term memory, into that hippocampus, by the end of the night it's going to be put into the back of your mind, into your long-term memory, and you're going to forget about it. But if you're in a grocery store and you see a whole bunch of prunes on sale and you think you're getting a good deal, well, you better stop and think about how you're going to store them first. And I can tell you right now, if you can't put them in the fridge, preferably in jars, then I wouldn't buy too many. No. It's not worth it, because they just don't hold up to the test of time.
What the?
Right. But that's not true either, because I took a bite and it didn't kill me. So if I had to choose between a hunger stone, a leather belt, right, and a mud pie, or those old prunes that were in a bucket in a plastic bag for who knows how long, I'd still choose those prunes. But I didn't have to. The raccoons got the prunes. Yeah. But for a situation where you maybe don't have a choice, we all learned something today, right? If they were rotten with bacteria, you'd see it because the bacteria would eat it. And it would be, they wouldn't have had their shape, it would have smelled, it would have had different colors. You might even see some mold growth. Then, yeah, no, for sure, don't eat that, okay? But that's not what I was dealing with. I was dealing with a bag that had started to compress itself, squeeze the juices to the bottom of the bag, and honestly, it tasted like a bland plum that comes off my tree that's not fully ripe. That's exactly what it tasted like, because when I was chewing on it, I was like, because I don't even like to eat those. That's why I can with them with a whole bunch of sugar. Right? Right? I'm just saying. And even my landlady doesn't like them unless they're really sweet. So, any other corrections that I got to think of that's on my mind? Right? I think that's it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into my little grow room and check on my green onions, which I have to cut down because they're getting way too long. And we're going to look at my little lettuce plants and I bought this little lettuce. Well, it's little. I didn't expect it to be so little. As a matter of fact, let me go get it. Okay, I don't know about you, if you got what I got, but what I got here, I feel like I got ripped off. Oh yeah, I paid $3 for this. Okay? Look how much lettuce I got for $3. Can you believe this? There's hardly anything there. So, what I do is I cut them off. You cut them off about that much, right? Okay? I cut it off, and then I take this part and I just plop it in some dirt under my grow lights. They're starting to grow, the ones that are in there. I just have one more planter pot, so I needed one more. So I'm going to cut this off, and when I do that, we're going to go in there and we're going to see how things are growing in there. Because for $3, like, come on. Right? I've been hearing about it. People online with their chat and everything, you know, with the messages and stuff, talking about how lettuce is like really small or it's wilting or browning, spoiling faster, and just the whole 9 yards. But when I got this, $2, I'm like, that's ridiculous. So hold on. Okay, people, so I'm going to do another little video here. I think I'm going to call this one, I don't know if I should say, in terms of the title, How to Break Away from a Toxic Relationship. Or maybe I should just simply label it as Breaking Away from a Toxic Relationship. Because I'm kind of in a dilemma here, people. We know what's going on with me. We know my days are numbered in terms of, I am not in denial, people. I'm not. I know I'm going blind. And I don't know what this doctor is feeding me in terms of the old okie dokie, but ever since I've been seeing this eye specialist, my eyes have gotten worse. He did that Roto-Rooter. He changed the cataract. He's got me on these drops. And I feel like crap. My eyesight has gotten worse. It continues to get worse. changing the cataract lens and giving me the mediocre of the middle of the line, regardless of what he said, was a bad mistake. If he was going to change my cataract, knowing that everything was going blind and it was getting whiter and whiter because of the type of blindness that's occurring within my eyesight, he should have gave me the best of the best versus telling me to use these for short distance because it doesn't fucking work. Okay. So, with me changing glasses all the time and just whatever, and it's okay. So, I'm preparing myself for the day when this eye becomes the spare wheel after he rotor-roots this one to bring down the pressure to save it so that when this one completely goes, this one still might be a spare wheel where when I'm walking around, I guess everything's white for the most part because it's not going darker, it's just getting brighter and things are blurring together and colors become less and less able to see colors. I will be able to see a door frame. That's why he wants to rotor-root. So he can make it so that I at least will be able to see a door frame. That's what he tells me, and consider it to be a spare wheel just so that when I'm moving around feeling my way, because that's how blind I am, I'll be able to see at least a bit of the door frame versus everything white, because it doesn't look like it's all going black. To me, it's looking like it's all going white, which is very draining on the freaking brain. Okay, that's not including the dizziness, the brain fog. I come into contact with things, nose start running, I put the eye drops in, and within a half an hour to an hour, everything starts running as my eyes are drying out, and just the depression kicks in. But through my videos, you can see that I've been holding down the fort, trying to remain positive, trying to remain productive, trying to build in, I don't know, I don't want to call them little adventures, but little projects that are educational in nature that can produce a result. I'm going to show you right now, but I'm going to have to bring this camera down, which brings me down, so I can get this box and we can open it up and we can see what's inside of it, because it takes up space, right? But if you notice, it's upstairs, it's not downstairs. So hopefully in the springtime next year, spring, summer, whatever. Not now, because I'm going through buckets, people. I have a few more buckets to go through, and I think I'll do another video on that, because that was kind of interesting, with the raisins and just whatever. And I think the other buckets, I know one bucket I think is probably full of chocolate, probably still in bags. To which, if that's the case, I might just take them out and put them in jars, because it'll just be better, right? And I already got in my bedroom. But I'm getting it ready for when I do go blind, people, and my kids start poking around through my shit, determining what they want and what they don't want. Because I'm offering stuff to Tisha. Like, she's in her glory. Like, seriously. I've given her a beautiful little red Dutch oven in like really good shape, like almost brand new. She asked me if I had a Dutch oven. And I said, well, not now. Let me look around, because I knew I had two smaller ones, plus I've got my big one, but I didn't want to give her the big one. And that one's all beat up anyway. So eventually I found one little red one that's in perfect condition, and I gave her that, and she's already used it to bake bread, and she's happy with it, right? And I've given her a few containers here. Just I give her, whenever I was when she had that surgery and Alex was coming and going, picking up Kyrie and dropping him off, and I'd be like, here, give this, take this home, right? Here's a Dutch oven, here's some containers, right? So anyway, she's coming now, right? And and she's asking me for something, right? And I'm like, well, here, take it. Oh no, and I'm like, Tisha, it won't be long where I won't even see it anymore. It won't matter to me. You see, that's what I'm preparing myself for, people. To the point where, so what? I can't see it. It means nothing to me anymore. Take it. Right? So I've been giving her, and I'm telling her, like, we're going to go through this, go through that. You take what you know. If I want to keep, I'll let you know, right? But other than that, take it. Oh, but, and I'm like, no. So anyway, she came here the other day. Oh my God, this is going to be another long video. She came here the other day, and she was looking at my walks, because I have several walks, right? And she said, oh, I'd like to have a walk. And I'm like, yo, that's not a problem, Tisha. Because what you don't want, what I don't want, we're going to go on to my Facebook. You and Andre can manage my Facebook page, and we'll sell a few things. Or whatever, you and Andre manage it, and you sell it. Because it's too hard for me to see people. It's like, burns out my eyes. It's just getting worse and worse every fucking day. You don't even know. So, I got into the cupboard, and there was some walks there, and there was a walk there, I swear, from ever since maybe the first walk I ever owned. And it was thick and heavy and a good walk, right? I gave her a cast iron frying pan. Oh, no, Mom. I said, no, take it, Tisha. Well, I don't know how to use it. I said, I'll show you right now. Right? And I've got more, but start with this one. Oh, gee, thanks, but I'd like a wok. And then she come, and I said, well, here's a wok. This is the one you want. This is nice and sturdy. It's thick. Right? I showed you how to look after it when I showed you how to look after the caster. Oh, well, if, I want the... I said, yes, Tisha, when you get back from your holiday, well, there it is. Pick what you want. Take it. And she wants me to go to her place, and when she gets back, and show her how to make homemade macaroni, show her how to make homemade pierogies, asking me if the doughs are the same, and I'm like, no, 2 different doughs, 2 different ways to make it. Do you have a rolling pin? Well, I do, but I got little black spots on it. And I'm like, well, you shouldn't. Well, why? What did you do? You're not supposed to wash rolling pins. Oh, but it's just some cheap little... I said, Tisha, I've got tons of rolling pins here, right? Because, over the years I accumulated them or whatever, or I'd see one, in the thrift store that was like primo, like top of the line, and I'd buy it for $4 and thinking I was going to disperse it between Shmei, Sierra, and Tisha and myself. But I only have basically Tisha now, and of course they're too good for Mark Kane. Mark Kane wouldn't want them unless, of course, he really wanted it. Then he would want it and he'd appreciate it. But if he doesn't want it, then it becomes fucking garbage with his attitude, which we're going to get to in a minute. And so I said, well, don't worry about rolling pins, because I've got beautiful rolling pins here, right? So when I come to your house to show you how to make macaroni, homemade pierogies, I'll bring a couple rolling pins and you can keep them, because I don't need them. And the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 that I have in the house after the fact of giving her something, when I go blind, people, it's not going to mean a damn thing to me. I accept that. And I'm either going to sit like a lump in a log, be abused, because I can't see the abuse coming, and be at the mercy of the one that's looking after me, whatever that mercy may be. Or maybe I'll find a way to be productive, learn to play piano, write songs, be a storyteller, and I might be lucky enough where I can find the patience to see even just a little bit, to do something, maybe beading, or who knows. But if I can't see anything, except maybe a door frame with my spare wheel, what the hell do I care about this shit other than, if you want to be a fool and throw it out on the fucking streets, there will be consequences to you being the fool. To which brings me to this video, because I feel like I'm dealing with a fucking fool here when it comes to my son. My son got married when? November 5th? Something like that? Yesterday or the day before, we'll say the 27th, 28th. I don't even know. I'm so mad. He came upstairs was chatting with me. He said that he wanted to start cleaning up the backyard. Now keep in mind, people, I've been asking him all spring, all summer, to help me with certain things on the porch, with the rabbit hutch, and basically in the yard. None of it happened, which is normal. Tisha gets mad at him because he never fucking helps me in the yard. Doesn't mow the grass, none of that shit. Anyway, so I just said, fuck it. I'm going to just finish up with the food prep, and I'm almost positive, but the rate my eyes are deteriorating, I can't guarantee it, that I'll be able to see something come spring. So I've already told Andre, now I won't be doing this food prep. That's why I have to pull out those other buckets, because once I pull out each and every bucket, redo whatever I'm going to do, put it back, it's good. And I'm trying to put it back in a way where Andre and I can use it, right? And then when I can't see anymore, whoever goes in there is going to find basically quality food to some degree or another, right? Where if they're not foolish, they'll use it. If they're foolish, they'll throw it out. And then when they don't have it and they can't afford to buy it, that's when they'll wish the fuck they didn't throw it out. Because they're looking for something else, whether to take control of me, to bash me, to think that they're going to get something out of it in terms of quote-unquote more space, or I don't know what the fuck's going on around here. All I know is I need to find a way to break away from a toxic relationship, because I'm sick and tired of being involved with my children that have toxic relationships. I went through it with Sierra and Austin. I went through it with Shimei and Julian. And for whatever strange reason, I'm going through it with my son, and I can't stand it. Because basically, he said to me, well, he came up, right? That's how it all started, people. He came upstairs, he's talking to me, and he says, I want to clean up the backyard because I have not done anything this year. I just gave up asking for help. I gave up asking for help. I even I bought Andre the Nintendo Switch, and I bought him a few things and an extra flash drive, but I told him, okay, you got the Nintendo Switch because you helped me with Amari, and you know you're a good kid and everything, but if you want the flash drive, you have to go out in the yard and work for it, and like, you know, because you got to learn to work for what you get, right? But that never happened because of whatever, and I didn't stress over it, and got to the point where, okay, well, I know I'm not going to be doing any food prep next year because I don't need to, people. I just need to tidy it up and get it more organized so that right, okay? And I'm assuming that I can still see, and it's not easy out there any more than it is inside doing anything that I've been doing for the last year, right? And since seeing this eye doctor, it's been getting harder and harder, faster and faster. But I'm up for the challenge, and I'm ready to go the full fucking mile until I just can't do it no more. Because when that day comes, whatever's around me and I can't see it, it ain't gonna matter shit except for maybe Shimei's piano and the people that are looking after me in terms of being kind and not abusive. Because my son seems to think he's gonna look after me and I'll be safe, where I tend to disagree. Not only in a conscious level, but I remind him that I had that dream where around my iris was black, but looking out the eye, everything was white, but I could still see my son over there after he built a room to lock me up in, as he was building another room to lock up probably Amari, because there's three. There's Andre, there's Amari, and there's me. He has no patience for me. He doesn't like to help me. And if he does it begrudgingly. And then he ends up hollering and screaming and cutting me down and calling me this and you, and yeah, and you. And then he comes back and he apologizes as if somehow it makes it okay, which is a bunch of fucking crock. And we know that Amari represents responsibility. And not only is it responsibility, but it's hardcore fucking on the job every day, 24/7, every minute of the day responsibility, to which my son will not have the patience for. I can tell you that right now. Okay? If he can't have the fucking patience with me, he's sure in the hell not gonna have the patience with the Mari. So don't fool yourself that you're gonna look after me when you can't even fucking help me take some shit downstairs, button your lip, do as I ask quietly without attacking me and making me wanna fucking die. After you're done hollering and screaming and accusing me of this, accusing me that, even though we're putting away fucking thousands of dollars worth of fucking food so that at some point, if you can't afford to buy fucking food, you got it. Oh, but you want the bedroom. Why? Why? For cheap rent? So you can come back and ask me for something else? Like, why don't you just be grateful for what the fuck you have, right? Okay, we know I've had this problem for a while. What did he do when he moved in that girl? That girl, people. What did he do? He threw out a fucking half a basement full of shit. And it ended up out on the fucking road. And people just came by and took it. And I think 2 people out of all that shit said thank you to me. Okay, I'm over that. I let it fucking go. Right? Let's get back to Tisha now. Now, we know at one point Tisha didn't care about so much the food prep. She was more tolerant of it, but she didn't really show an interest in it. But with the cost of food going up now more and more and more and more and more, she's starting to think more frugal, shopping for deals, right? Asking me, how do you make homemade macaroni? How do you make homemade pita, right? Like, geez, Mom, do you have a Dutch oven? Because I gave her, not only did I give her a blender, we got videos on that, right? When my son was throwing everything out, Rhea got a blender, a beautiful blender with big glass bowls, old school blenders with the bread beaters and just the normal beaters on them. Things that are hard to fucking find these days unless you want to pay $300. It didn't cost me a damn thing, right? Gave her one, right? Gave her the book. It took her a while, but now she's making homemade bread. Somewhere in one of those books, she read that you could put it into a Dutch oven. She asked me if I had a Dutch oven. I ended up giving her a Dutch oven, and now she's making fucking bread. Okay, she's cluing in. This is what I'm trying to say. Okay? So she's now, like, I have, like, utensils all over, right? And she's asking, well, don't throw anything. Now she's telling me not to throw anything out. And I'm like, Tisha, I would never throw anything out. I would never get rid of anything until you went through it first. You get first dibs, right? And anything left over, if I don't want it, and you don't want it, and Mark Kane doesn't want it, then yeah, we'll put it online, and if we can get $5 for a bag of this, a bag of that, $20 for this, whatever, we'll try and sell it, right? Right? And then after the fact, if nothing sells, and I'm moving on or whatever, then drop it off at the thrift store. But in the meantime, we're gonna get Andre to take pictures, learn how to put it online, and manage the sales of whatever it is that my kids, quote unquote, don't want, as I go blinder and blinder and blinder to the point where I don't care what happens to the fucking thing because I won't even see it. And if they want to be foolish and chuck it out or whatever they do with it, not realizing that they themselves might need it for 4 or 5 years or 2 years or whenever, well, then they're going to learn the hard way, people, because I'll be blind as a bat, if not dead by that time, and it won't matter one damn thing to me. But I'm being tortured before that happens. Because I'm in a toxic relationship, like I was with Sierra in Austin, like I was with fucking Julian and freaking Shimei, like I was with Joan when Joan moved in and did the shit that she was doing, right? Because, just whatever. John and Joan. She fucking terrorized me the whole time she lived here, right? And I put up with it for Uncle John because it made him happy that she wasn't in an old folks home all by herself sitting up in fucking Victoria with nobody visiting her. But I did that for John. I let her come and she just fucking terrorized me. Pit John against one against the other. Tried to make him fucking choose and starving him and just all kinds of stupid shit. Wouldn't let him eat the food that was being made and would take it away from him, put it in the fridge, and he was getting skinnier and skinnier. I'm like, Jesus Christ, John, what the hell's going on? What's wrong with you? Why aren't you? Joan takes it away from you. Well, what the fuck? Because she herself was bulimic and anorexia. She was controlling him, right? So anyway, I'm now finding myself in the same situation with my son. I don't know what the hell his problem is, because he said, I want to clean the yard. And I said, well, okay. Well, that would be nice. I mean, I've been waiting all spring, all summer, right? And it's been bothering me, but I had to choose the priorities, and this was the priority in terms of what I've been doing. And once it's done, it's done. Like, we're good for years, people. And it's not like I'm not fucking trying here to be responsible. Or, I've made a New Year's resolution. Instead of spending money, I'm going to now start paying my bills to play catch up for everything that I invested into the food, to have food security into the house, not just for myself, but for my family. Whether that's Tisha with the kids, like I bought 8 boxes of freaking macaroni here, and, Tisha was talking, because I said, I bought because your kids will eat that when they're here, and Andre likes it, and they were on sale, and it was convenient, and, oh, well, can I have some? She asked me for jam. I gave her a jar of jam. I'm always giving a little this and a little that, and, she liking it, right? Because she's realizing that having a family is not that fucking straightforward. It gets expensive, even without you wanting it to be expensive, right? And, it's nice that you want jam? Sure, here, take it. Whether I made it or whether I bought it, it doesn't matter. You can take both. I got lots, You want, okay, now you're making bread? Well, you know what? There's going to come a day when you're going to ask me for a week to grind the fucking flour to make even better bread. And I told her that, right? And I'll even give you the damn grinder for it. Whether it's a hand grinder. I bought a little hand grinder just for Alea. But she's not ready for that. She's still just baking the bread and putting it in the Dutch oven. Discovering that it's the best that, it's better than what you buy in a store. Alright. So, okay. So I'm feeling kind of positive about that now she's not telling me, oh, it's just junk, I don't want it. She's saying, no, Mom, before you throw out any utensils, like spoons and whatever it is when it comes to the kitchen, right? Anything to do with kitchen, she wants now, right? She just doesn't want to take it. And she feels, she's embarrassed to ask me to take it, right? And I'm like, don't feel embarrassed, Tisha. Don't ever be afraid to ask, because first of all, I'm not going to see it pretty soon. It's not going to matter to me. And if anyone gets it, it should be you, right? And if I really don't want to give it to you, I'll say, well, I don't want to give it to you, but chances are I'll probably have something similar somewhere else that's just sitting in a box, right? So I told her when she gets back, she can go through the box, pick what she wants, she can take, and whatever's left, if I don't want, then her and Andre can put it online, and if they can get $5, $10, $15 for whatever it is that's in that box, go for it. Because that will help Andre, right, to learn and work with websites and stuff, right? And not being wasteful, not just throwing things away, right? So my son says, oh, I'll help you. I know. He said, no, I want to clean the yard. I said, oh, well, that's great. I need help with that, right? 'Cause, again, I've been asking for months. Didn't happen. So I was really surprised when he offered to do that, because he said he wanted to use the fire pit. And I said, okay, yeah, but, what are you going to do? That's what I said. What are you going to do? Because I've already got my plans. As soon as spring hits, that's it. I'm outside. I'm bringing the kids with me. I'm always going to be a little sun bunny this year coming up. And I'm going to work like a Dickens, and I'm going to do what I can, where I can, as hard as I can, as best as I can. Andre wants to put in the pond. I have everything that needs to be put in the pond, minus the pump, which is only $100 or so. And I've agreed that he can do that for the simple fact, not because we need a pond, but because it will give him the experience to put in a pond, so that when he's a man, if he ever wants to do it, he will have that in his long-term memory, and he will be able to do it for himself when I'm not alive anymore. So therefore, you want to put the pond in? Nana's been working on that thing for years and years and years and years. I can't do it by myself, but if you want to do it, I will help you to finish it. And he wants to, with or without Marcane. And we're going to be putting in the pond next year, because I'm going to let Andre do it. And we will record it. Blind as a bat. So that he can have that memory. so that when he's older, if he wants to do one for himself, whether it's just personal or maybe he might want to start a little business and he gets good at it. Waste not, want not. I didn't go through all that bullshit out there for nothing, right? And I'm glad Andre is showing an interest, just like with Tisha. I'm glad that Tisha is now starting to show an interest. And so not only is she showing an interest with the kitchen stuff and learning to cook more homemade stuff, but she's starting to show an interest with the fabrics and sewing and stuff, because I'm telling her, this, we can do this, we can do that. Well, you can't see, Mom. Yeah, you're right. I can't see very well, but I can still see a little bit, and I can get you started. I can get you going on it. And then don't forget, we got Andre coming up, right? And once you start, Tisha, with the few things that I get you started on, it won't be long before you'll be on doing it for yourself. And you got everything that you could possibly want right here in this fucking house without spending not even one red cent. And it will keep you going for years, for the most part. Some things, depending on what she's sewing, she might have to go and top off on. But for the most part, you know, forget it. If you want zippers, I got zippers here that could last 10 fucking years. You'd have to go through a lot of garments to use up all the zippers I have. I'm just saying. Right? Okay, so that's where I'm at with Tisha. Positive note, with the kitchen stuff, cooking, food, all of it. Positive note, coming in with the sewing after the food is done or whatever, right? And then, you know, right? Whether we sell some of the fabric or whether she starts sewing with the fabric. And if she starts sewing with the fabric, I'd be hesitant to sell it, because if she sews it, once she makes a few things and she gets successful at it, she's not going to want to, you know, why sell it when you're going to want to use it? Now, she is talking about moving away at some point in the future, but she tries to put it, well, that's not for 3 years away. Well, okay, if that's the case, you know, let's start using up the fabric, and before we sell it, maybe we should just run it until you leave, and then what's left, maybe then we'll sell it, because by then I probably won't be able to see very much, people. I probably won't. And that's assuming that I'm even alive, and I don't think my fucking kids, they really realize the severity of the matter here, okay? Because people in my situation, with the eye drops, being depressed all the time, going blinder and blinder, we tend not to live very long statistically. Statistically, we tend not to live very long, right? Because we don't handle stress very well, because we're always constantly under stress. Our bodies are fighting so hard just to keep our minds clear and just to be able to focus and be able to, it's like life completely changes. So anyway, so I'm on a good path with Tisha, with multiple areas, right? And I'm explaining to her, you know, as we liquidate things in the house, little by little, whatever those little things are, you know, then it will make the transition of whatever transition I'm going into that much easier. Whereas my son, on the other hand, I don't know what the hell is wrong with this man. But I just know that I've got a toxic relationship with him, and it's been toxic for quite a while. And anytime it calms down, it just seems to be, I don't know, like fake. Because it springs up so fast out of nowhere. Where he came, he says, I want to clean the yard. I said, okay, well, what do you want to do? Because I already have it in my mind that as soon as spring comes, I'm out there. And I'm going to be out there. That will be probably my last year of working in the yard, next year coming in with the spring. I'm pretty sure I can do it for one more year, and I'm going to put my heart and soul in it, just like I've been putting my heart and soul into this yard from the moment I moved in and looked at it and got my first fucking foot on the ground and started working in there. I got boxes here, big ass boxes, there's a whole bunch of them, where I'm going to make raised garden beds with them. I already talked to Tisha about it. You to come with the kids. We're going to fold up these boxes. We're going to fill them up on the bottom with pieces of wood around the yard. We're going to gut out the bottom part of the rabbit hutch, right? And take that old hay, put them on top of the wood, and then do your soil. And then but you take chicken wire, which I have around the yard, people. Seriously. And just run it around the box. And then I've got other stuff I can run around the box. right? And then plant food. So Tisha and Andre learn how to make raised garden beds without having to spend oodles and oodles and oodles of money in terms of wood and frames and all that stuff. And a little lady gets to grow some vegetables, and the plants, they actually do quite well depending on where these garden beds are situated. And the only reason I'm doing it, people, is so that they have that experience short term and then log it away into their long-term memory. Because I said to Tisha, if you're moving off to a little island and you think you're going to grow a garden, but you've never grown a garden before, how are you going to manage if you don't know what you're doing? It's better to come next year, do this with me with the kids, we'll have fun, you will learn, and then if and when, or wherever you move to after the fact, you will always know how to do it, right along with Andre. Mission accomplished. That's the only reason I'm doing it, people. It's not because I need a fucking garden. Although, I do want to get into the greenhouse and try and grow tomato plants where they're actually producing a lot, because the last few years I've been growing tomato plants. I didn't even do nothing last year. This year I did nothing, absolutely nothing. But the 2 years prior to that, with the government, something's happening to the rays in the sun. Even my landlady was knowing that things weren't growing as well for her as she wanted to. Some things just wouldn't grow very well because there's not enough photosynthesis or whatever going through the sun rays, right? Anyway, I'm going to try and grow tomatoes next year. And then those tomatoes I'd like to can. And I'm hoping that I'll still be able to see a little bit. And I'm going to have Andre and Tisha can them in this brand new water bath that I bought extra parts for. So, in terms of, just extra parts for canning for a water. Okay, you seen that, right? I didn't buy that for me, people. I bought it for Andre and hopefully Tisha. And I'll just kind of supervise. And once they do it once, 2, 3 times over a course of a few months, it's there. And it goes to sleep in your long-term memory. So that at some point in the future, if you want to do it, you won't be afraid to do it, and you'll find a way to do it. And that might be the only way they'll be able to keep food in their house. Because I can't guarantee that there's going to be enough food around in 10 years from now to feed anyone in my family. Never mind in 20 years from now. With just the overall politics of what's going on in our world. From country to country, from ethnic group to from politician to wherever it's coming from. The elite. Okay, here's the crutch. Same thing with the sausage shit. So my son says, okay, I want to clean the yard. I say, okay, well, what are you going to do? But I'm already gung-ho to get out there as soon as it warms up. Because I won't be doing this shit, that's for sure. In terms of food prep. That'll be done. I've done my bid. Well, I want to get into the fire pit. I'm going to start burning wood. And that was like a red flag. Burning wood? Why? What kind of wood are you burning? Right? Because I've already got plans for the stumps and this and just whatever, right? Because, I'm making garden beds with Tisha and the kids and Andre and Amari. Right? So I already got plans for that shit. He tell me he's going to burn it. And I'm like, well, and any 2x4s or whatever I've got out there to him, his idea is chuck it. And then if you need it, go to Home Depot and buy new stuff. No. This is a fucking old yard. If I need a 2x4 to brace something because, over a period of time, the rain, with the acid in the rain, it eats the wood, and sometimes you have to brace shit up or whatever. Whatever's in this yard is good enough to do that. Or you're making a spike with a post and you sledgehammer it in to hold up whatever, right? I ain't gonna go off and buy new wood for that. I don't have a car to go running around looking for shit people throw out on the road. None of that crap, people. I have to use what I have. I'm putting in one more fucking year, and I'll be surprised if I can even get into year 2. Okay? And I got into panic mode. I said, wood, what are you burning? Well, I'm burning all of it. I'm just going to burn it up in the fireplace and get rid of it. And I'm like, Marcane, you can't do that because, I got plans to make garden beds and I need those wood stumps for the bottom of the box and any 2x4s or whatever, those kind of things I need for repairs. Because I'm not buying, you are again getting all controlling. And I said, no, I'm not trying to get controlling here. I'm trying to tell you that I've already got plans for this stuff and I can't afford to go off and buy new shit. Well, I'm not doing it then. I said, well, why can't we work together as a team? I said, if you want to work outside, that'd be great. I'd really appreciate that. And I'll fucking drop everything that I'm doing. I'll dress warm and I'll come outside and I will work with you as a team. No, because you're just going to boss me around and tell me what to do. I said, yeah, well, do you see that push lawnmower that's in the fire pit? When I tried to hire homeless people to fucking come and help me, because I didn't say it to him, because you wouldn't, and they threw everything out of the hen house, and it just all piled up here and piled up there, and this year I just said, to hell with it, I'm just going to finish with the food because it's the priority, not because I need to hoard food or I'm feeling food insecure, but with what our governments are doing, with the warmongering from country to country to country, with the cost of living inflation going higher and higher and higher, and with the housing market getting just out of control, I'm clearing out fabric in my bedroom just to be able to put fucking food in there, okay? So that if my daughter comes to me and says, Mom, can I have some jam? I can go into my room, which is nice and cold, and I can get her a fucking jar of jam, or 2 jars, or 3 jars, or 4 jars, and see her say, here, take it. And those are store-bought, not including the stuff that I've canned. And I'll say, take it for the kids. And am I going to feel like I lost out on a few dollars of fucking jam? No. I'm going to feel good that that jam is nicely preserved in my cold fucking bedroom. And I was thinking ahead of the game. Because for as hard as Alex works, and he works hard, people, he is a plumber, and he makes good money. But I, myself, know that in a blink of an eye, anything could happen. Their income drop, and she'll be struggling to be able to buy food, never mind pay the fucking bills, as Alex is recuperating from maybe an injury that happened on or off the job. I'm just saying. They haven't experienced this. Marcane has not experienced that. He hasn't even gotten close to the game yet. Tisha has not experienced that yet. Although she's becoming aware that there's something wrong and that it's harder and harder to look after a family. And yeah, you have to learn to be frugal, even if it means making it yourself. If she's willing to make homemade macaroni, she's willing to make homemade bread, she's willing to make homemade pierogies, there's going to come a time, people, where she's going to be willing to fucking can something for herself. And then I can sleep peacefully in whatever grave I'm laying in. But I don't trust my government. I'm sure they'll take my body and do something fucking horrid with it so they can capitalize and keep themselves living in some sort of freaking sustainable middle-class lifestyle while everybody else are running around acting like fucking eating rats. So I can't even say I'll be in peace living in my own grave, not rolling around. Because we got the government body snatching bodies. But at least in mind and soul, I'll know that my kids, to some degree, will have a few survival skills. Because if I grow tomatoes, lock out the fucking stalker that stalks my yard, and I can actually grow some tomatoes in that greenhouse this year with the help of my daughter and my grandsons, and my little granddaughter, then yeah, we'll can them. I'll teach. I got everything Tisha needs, but here's the problem. Here's the problem. And by that time, she'll be ready, right? And I bought nice shit, which will even make it more exciting, because it's a beautiful pot, right? And it has that little gauge on it, and I bought the little parts that go with it that I've never had all these years, but I didn't buy it for me. I bought it for them. I bought it for Andre and Tisha, because I know my son's not interested in it. And I bought it because I could still see, and I can probably find enough time through eyesight to be able to walk him through it at least 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 times before I just won't be able to see anymore. And then it becomes insignificant to me. But after a few times of them doing it, they're not going to want to chuck it out. Okay. So my son says, no, I'm not doing nothing. If I can't do it my way, I'm not doing it. You know. Well, first of all, in my mind, I'm like, okay, little motherfucker, so what? I asked you all spring, all summer to come out and help me do this, help me work on the porch, help me. You don't fucking help me, and then you show up right before fucking winter sits in telling me you want to work in the yard. And that you're just going to start burning shit off and throwing anything and it doesn't matter, out in the fucking garbage if you think it's garbage. And I go into being in the basement again, people, where he fucking trashed all my shit and threw it out in the fucking garage. Hollering and screaming at me, call me this, call me that, accuse me of this, accuse me of that. Like, fuck that. I said, forget it, Markane, just leave it alone. It's been sitting there like that all fucking summer long, just leave it. I already got plans to go out come spring. I will deal with it myself. And then he switches the subject. Okay, so now the war is on. Okay, well, how did he asked me to start emptying out Tisha's bedroom. He goes, Mom, there was something. He switched the subject and he goes, something about, I want to have a kid and I need you to clear out a bedroom. I said, excuse me? He says, yeah, you got to clear out a bedroom because I'm going to have a kid. I said, you're having a kid? He said, well, no, not now, but I want one. I'm like, okay, but it's not that simple, Markane. Oh, well, what about the other half of the living room? I said, Markane, you already know what's there. We're talking food, people. Food prep. That I can't get into right now because he moved the piano right in fucking front of it where I can't get in there. But whatever's there, which is probably thousands and thousands and thousands worth of fucking dollars, he wants me to just chuck out so that he can have more room. And he goes, well, what am I supposed to do if I have a kid? I said, well, do like everybody else does, Markane. Bring the baby into your room. That's what most people do. Oh, well, you're just thinking about your stuff. You're not thinking about me. I'm like, what is wrong with you? There's something wrong with you, right? And I'm trying so hard, people, and I feel sick. Sicker than I've ever been feeling, and I've been feeling sick. I'm getting flooded with this fucking god-awful, toxic fucking, and I'm like, don't take the bait, Judy. And I'm biting my lip, and I'm trying not to poke the bear. I'm trying not to fucking geek him up so he can start hollering and screaming at me because he's not getting his fucking way. As he's accusing me of being selfish because I'm not throwing out fucking food or fabric. Because that's what's there. It's everything to do with sewing or it's food. And just as my daughter's coming into the realization that she's got access to fabric and everything that she could possibly want to start sewing things, sewing machines, elastics, buttons, zippers, fucking thread, woolly nylon thread, sergers, patterns, whatever. She's got it, people. He wants me to throw it out so that he can have a fucking kid down there and pay cheap rent. Then I said, well, first of all, you can't put no baby in Tisha's room because it's musty. There's something wrong with that. It's been like that forever. So even if you were to clear it out, no, it's not a good idea. Well, then clear out the rest of the living room. Because one half is where I've got food. We're talking honey, salmon, all kinds of stuff in there, people, that I need to get in there. And we're going to do that when Tisha gets back. And he's just going to be huffing and puffing around looking for a fucking fight. Right? Because what's happening is his, I guess you can say, wife. I don't consider her to be a wife. I haven't talked to that girl since the marriage. I didn't ever talk to her before the marriage because she doesn't talk to me. And when she does, it's fake. She'll smile if I come down, if Marcane's there, act all, but if I go down and she's down there by herself, she's snippy with me. She's like Joan, curt and snippy. But if I go down when he's down, she's more, So I don't go down. I avoid going downstairs as much as possible unless I absolutely have to. And I guess she's needling in his ear that she wants to have a kid now because they're married. And that he better get up on it and make more space for the baby. So now he feels obligated to make more space for the baby by expecting me to accommodate him and her needs at the expense of throwing out fabric. We're talking thousands of dollars worth of fabric right along with thousands of dollars worth of food just so that they can continue to abuse me with their toxic fucking relationship. Because I do not feel like I have a healthy relationship with my son. I haven't had a healthy relationship with my son for a long time, people. And when I calm down and I relax and I can say I love you and it comes from my heart, he comes and he sabotages it just like he did fucking yesterday or the day before when he was like, well, I'm going to go clean the yard. And I'm like, okay, well, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to start burning wood because I want the fire pit. And I'm like, whoa, no, you can't do. Well, you're telling me what to do. I don't want to do it. And I said, well, why can't we just work as a team? I told you what I want to do. I want to take that wood. I'm building guard. I explained to him why I needed that wood before he burned it. Oh, that's, you can't do that. You can't see. You're not going to do that. You can't do that. Or are you still canning? Are you still doing food prep? And I'm like, well, at the tail end of it, but yeah, I plan on, like, because he's convinced I can't see, right? And he goes, well, you can't see. And I'm like, well, yeah, well, I still kind of see a bit, right? Like, I'm not over the hump yet, right? Like, I have plans, and I want that wood for the bottom of the, up, like the raised garden beds that I'm going to use with the cardboard and the chicken wire, because I want to teach Andre and just Tisha and try it and be done with it, and it'll probably be the last time I ever fucking do it. And he's saying, no, you can't do that, right? You can't see, you can't do that. You're not going to be working in the yard. And I said, yes, I am. As far as I know, I'm going out there and fucking spring with or without you. Like, why can't we work together as a team? Well, because you're going to, no, I don't want to work with you. I just want to go out there and do what I want. And I'm like, yeah, but you're going to start chucking my shit. He goes, yeah. And I'm like, well, that's not good enough. Like, just fucking leave it alone. I'll deal with it in the spring. Because I've been asking him all fucking summer and fall, spring, summer this year to help me, and he never did.
Can I leave the purple mat on the floor?
For now.
Okay, because there's a water comes on there.
Yeah, I know. When you guys go to Tisha's, I'll vacuum in there. I'll give it a good vacuum. And then he switched it over, or you need to start throwing out, you need to clear out the bedroom. You need to, if you can't clear out the bedroom, then you need to clear out the other half of the living room. And I'm like, well, no, like, just fucking move. Oh, you're choosing your stuff over me. Well, when it comes to food, and I've been working hard all these years to make sure that I had food in the house so that I could provide for everybody, including you, but you are an ungrateful fucking human being. Unless, of course, it's something that you really want, then you like it for the moment, but anything else after that can all go in the fucking garbage, even though your sister might want it. Like, fuck you. Just move. I didn't say it because I was biting my tongue. I just said, Move. Like, I'm done. Like, there's something wrong with you. Like, fucking move. It's enough that you moved a woman into the house that's mean, people. She's fucking mean. She's not friendly. She's not helpful. She doesn't care. All she cares about is controlling Marcane and turning him into a fucking monster so he can come and attack me and justify it. Like, that's a toxic relationship. That's what was going on with fucking Julian and stupid Austin. Only this is a woman doing it. Well, Joan did it too. I can't stand it, people. It makes me sick. And with this, when I'm feeling sick like that, it makes me blinder faster. It really does. The stress, the tension, right? And I tell him, it won't be long, Marcane, before I'm fucking dead, so I just try and relax. Like, just calm down, man. And just, you know, right? Right? You know? Like, leave me alone, man. Why are you stressing me out? Ooh, ooh. And then I said, no, just go ahead and move, Marcane. I'm not fucking throwing anything out. But of course, I'm in panic mode, wondering if he's just going to start chucking my shit out. Or go on a little fucking rampage and start busting shit when he gets mad. Because he's frustrated because he's getting pressure from this girl to make more space and not move out because they don't want to pay more rent. As she's sucking up all the hydro, sewing 24/7 down there, but I don't say nothing about that. I don't ask for extra money for the fucking hydro that she uses when she's sewing. I just let them live their life, right? But I know she's putting pressure. You know how I know she's putting pressure? Because when my son got married, and we went for dinner after the fact, and I was there with her parents, and I had never met her parents. It's the first time I met her parents. That shows you how loving of a fucking family we got here, okay? And you know anything that they got to say about me isn't good, but of course everything's fake, right? You know, just put on a face. My son's married to a daughter, and you know, nice to meet you. Yeah, okay, well, we already know you guys have been talking up a storm about me, so whatever, I put up with it. So we're sitting there, we're having dinner, and we were talking and stuff, and the subject of, you know, life and life challenges came up, and the dad piped up. He says, oh yeah, you know, back in the day we had a nice little 2-bedroom, and it was great, and I was in my glory, and you know, and then fucking my wife, you know, the wife got pregnant, and all of a sudden the wife is like, you know, she's demanding the father to get her a new house because she was having another baby. And then she piped in, yeah. I said, go get me another house. I can't stay in this house. I need another house right now, because, you know, the baby's coming soon. So he went off and sold the house that he loved and didn't want to sell to accommodate a new baby coming into the house with more rooms. And he gave the woman what she wanted. And they moved there. And it hurt him because that's not what he wanted, but that's what she wanted. She demanded it. She expected him to do it, and he did it for her. But the only thing is, in those days, you could afford to fucking do that shit. Houses were affordable. Well, not anymore. And that's why my son fucking does what he does, because he doesn't want to go out and pay 2 times as much for something less than maybe what he's already got. So therefore he terrorizes me. And he thinks he can railroad me. And have me throw my life away. As he's telling me, because he go, well, you can't do gardening. What are you going to do, Mom? What do you plan on doing, Mom? You told me you weren't going to do no food prep. How much more food prep do you got to do? I said, well, not really very much. Like, I'm almost near the tail end of it. You know, I'm doing buckets right now just because, right? I mean, right? And I said, I am going to get into sausage making. Well, sausage making? You can't do sausage. That's failure. You're not, well, you can't, you know. And I'm like, well, I still have, you know, I have those canned fruit in the cans that now that I have them, I realize that if I leave them in the cans for any length of time, they're not going to last for 4 years, right? 5 years. I'd be better off in the next year to can them up with or without Tisha and Andre and get them into jars where they will last for 5, 10, 15 fucking years. And being that Tisha's asking for my home canned jam, She didn't ask me for the store-bought jam. She asked me for the home can jam. But I had already bought some, so I said, here, forget the home can. I don't even know. I can't even get to it. Just take the store-bought. You know she's going to end up wanting some of the canned fruit, especially if she helps to can it, to get it out of the can. Because if you leave it in the can for any length of fucking time, it's just going to get tinny tasting. But my son doesn't care about that. He just expects me to take all those cans and throw them out in the fucking road and give them to the homeless people so that he can have more space because his fucking wife is demanding for him to get new space so that she can have a kid. And he refuses to move out. When I say, well, no, I'm not going to do that because, you know, I didn't work all these years, spend all this money, go through all this to start fucking throwing shit out so that you can have your space and then come back to me 6 months later treating me the same kind of way because you're still fucking unsatisfied with your own stupid life and you got to take it out on me before you fucking learn to grow up. Expecting me to fucking die so you can take over everything. He makes me feel like I want to fucking die when he does this stupid shit. And I tell him that, yeah, well, that's the truth. I'm too old for your fucking psychological, emotional fucking gaslighting abuse. You're unhappy? Get the fuck out. You want to have a kid? Put the baby in the room like everybody else fucking does. Right? Her parents live in a 5-bedroom fucking house that they bought when that woman said, go get me a house. And Dad could afford to go buy one because in those days you could actually buy one. Unlike it is today. All their kids, 4 daughters, have moved out. Which means there's 3 empty fucking bedrooms in there. With a man that works. No children with disabilities. None of that crap. With a wife, I don't know what the mother does. Maybe she works, maybe she doesn't. I don't know. All I know is, from my understanding, there's 3 fucking available empty fucking bedrooms. And I'm sure they can give them, those 2 downstairs, cheap rent. And they can take over 2 rooms and learn to get along with those people. As they figure out how they're going to build their life together because I'm not fucking included in it. No. Don't come to me and tell me you're going to keep me fucking safe when you're fucking razzing me, threatening me. And then he goes, I said, well, just move out, Markane. I didn't take the bait. I didn't get riled up. I didn't argue. I said, okay, whatever you got to say. No, it's okay. Don't worry about the yard. I already got it figured out. I'm fucking dealing with it in the spring. That's all I'm going to be working on. And, you know, I plan on making sausages with Andre. Or, well, you can't do that. You told me you weren't going to do no food prep. I said, making sausages is not food prep, Marky. Oh, well, what else you going to do, Mama? I said, well, it is, you know, I gotta do the cans just because, right? Oh, well, that's, you know, you can't do that. You told me you aren't going to do that. You need to do this, and you need to empty out half the living room. And I'm like, well, yeah, okay, yeah, Roy, I don't think that's happening. You move. Oh, no, I'm going to take you to court. That's what he told me, people. He's going to take me to fucking court. What, you going to go stand in front of a fucking judge, tell him that you want to fucking stay, pay cheap rent while you abuse your mother, don't help her with the yard or nothing like that, right? Make fucking stupid little, well, I don't know, threats on her in terms of, I'm going to take you to court, just so that you can throw out food and fabric to have more space and pay cheap rent? Yeah, okay, I'd like to see a fucking judge to prove that. Good luck. So your wife can get pregnant? Like, he's confused. This woman has done nothing for him. She's fucking confused him. And that's my dream. My dream. He built a room that I was basically locked into as he was building another room to lock somebody else in, which would be Omari. Because Andre's different. He's independent. They can boss him around. He can do things for himself. So, you know, they'd want Andre. But they don't want me. And they sure the hell don't want Amari. As my son's got his back fucking turned to me with a whole bunch of other men looking off into the horizon, completely ignoring me after he fucking locked me up. And he's building another room to lock up somebody next close to me, which would be Amari, because he would not want the responsibility. So do not fucking tell me that you are going to look after me and keep me fucking safe, because my eyes already showed my, what is that called? Third vision? Or whatever vision that is, told me exactly where you're fucking at. That's what this girl brought into my house. And she's, I need more space. Like her mother. I need more space. Go tell your mom that she needs to empty out. Because we're having a baby. Versus being fucking adults and just moving out. I said, why don't you move? Well, no, you told me to stay. I said, Markane, that was 4 fucking years ago. And that was on an emergency situation. Or not 4 years ago, a year ago. I guess it was a year ago because they've only been dating for a year. Or whenever that was. I don't even know. It was like when my landlady threatened to come with the bin a year ago or so, right? 6 months ago? Because it was in the summertime, right? It was in the summertime. Yeah. My landlady came to the house with her son, threatened to fucking... No, more than that. I don't know, she threatened to fucking have the bin come. She wasn't even here at that time. I don't know. Like, the dates aren't matching up either, or she threatened to fucking bring the bins. Her son was there or something. Right? I panicked. Markane was going to move out with her. Yeah, it was in the summertime. Because she's threatened me more than once to bring the fucking bins. Okay? Or whatever she was doing. And because they want $4,500 for this place. That's why, people. Not because I'm a bad person or whatever. It's just the money, right? So anyway, I pleaded with him not to leave until things calmed down and I knew exactly what was going to happen. Because I took it for face value. What she said was going to happen. And I was bracing myself for that to happen. And I was just feeling a little insecure. And I just asked my son to hold out for a little while until we knew what was going to happen. Well, he's been holding it over my head ever since. And he's still holding it over my head. And he said he's going to continue to hold it over my head because he wanted to move out. And I asked him to stay. And therefore, now that he's here, he's not leaving. And I just looked at him. I said, there's something wrong with you. Like, there's seriously something fucking wrong with you. Like, and then he threatened to take me to court so that he can have, I guess, the right to start throwing out food and fabric. Because that's basically what's down there. Auntie Shemay's room, I've got it down to where it's basically nothing but food. Basically. We're talking 98% fucking food. As I'm waiting on a shelf to be repaired so I can put the boxes of macaroni and those kind of things on the shelf. But it needs to be secure first before I do that. But of course, my son won't do that. And if he does, when that time comes, as he's doing it, at some point he'll start fucking ragging on me, get all fucking frustrated to the point where I'm on the verge of tears if I'm not already fucking crying. And I'm running out of there like a bat out of fucking hell. So it's not like I'm fucking pushing it, okay? Because that's what happens when I ask him to fucking help me with anything. Alright? This is what I mean by a toxic relationship. 98% fucking food. Alright? Tisha's room is anything to do with sewing and court papers. That's it. And a few books. To which Tisha and Andre can put online and sell. But the majority of it is fabric, 4 dressmaking forms, which come in at $300, $400 to buy per dressmaking form. So sure, Markane, take those 4 dressmaking forms, throw them out on the fucking road. We'll put them at $400 each. 4 times 4, 8, 6. That's $1,600 worth of fucking dressmaking forms that you're just gonna toss out on the street so that you can bully me to accommodate your wife so that you guys can have a baby. And then come back and tell me that there's something wrong with that room because there's musty, because it's under the fucking floorboards. And that now you want Shemay's room. And I need to get rid of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of fucking food so that we can starve, so that you can have baby number 2. right? Like, this, like, seriously, my son is out of touch with fucking reality. While her parents sit in a house, just the two of them, without a care in the fucking world, in a 5-bedroom house with 3 of them empty. Yeah, okay. And then talk bad about me when I'm not there. Because his girlfriend, I'm sorry, wife, because his wife doesn't like me. For whatever fucking reason, as if I ever did anything to her. I never did a damn thing to her, people. She moved into my fucking house. I don't know how to remove myself from this toxic relationship other than to stand my ground. If my son wants to take me to court, I'll see you in court. And you can explain yourself why you want to abuse your mother who's going fucking blind. And then sit up there and convince yourself. Okay, so old cameras, old batteries, not enough hard disk space on this little flash drive thing, whatever. Anyway, I'm back. I'll finish this video, okay? It's a serious topic, people, like, seriously. I don't know what to do because I'm codependent, right? I'm codependent to my situation. I'm up by the little grow room, so that's why I'm kind of glowing here, because we're going to look at those green onions, and I'm going to show you the little lettuce. The little lettuce that I got grown in there with some bok choy. Oh, and my sweet potato greens, because you can eat those, by the way. But before I do that, I just want to show you, like, my heart. Oh, I don't have glasses, as if I can see anything here in terms of this. So this is a ham spice. It's big print. I can kind of see that, right? So you can make, okay, this is what I plan on doing after I'm done this stuff, right? And then once I'm done putting this stuff away, and in terms of I'm pulling in the cupboard, I'm in the pantry, going, right, finish up with whatever's just in a bag on the floor, like the one little leftover panella, I'll put that into a jar and just whatever, right? Then, you know, start thinking about selling a few things, right? Let Tisha take what she wants. And then hopefully the kitchen will be cleared out by that time. Hopefully I'll still be able to see somewhat, because it is getting worse, people. This doctor, I don't know, he's lying to himself. Maybe he thinks he's telling me the truth, but ultimately he's lying to himself. And, you know, he's trying to convince me not to change this lens, that it won't make much of a difference. But I think I'm going to press it. I think I'm going to, no, you should have put the best of the best, the one that I don't need glasses for short-term vision. Because, you know, that was, oh, just get dollar store. No, it doesn't work under my circumstances. Maybe for somebody else that has full light spectrum with all their octave nerves, and maybe I could see it. But when you're down to, and I had 2% in this one, 13% in this one. I can tell you I have less than 13% octave nerves in this one now. Not only that, but I'm dealing with the blurriness because he put in a cataract lens that for short term you have to wear dollar store glasses, to which doesn't fucking work, as this one is getting blurry and just whatever. Okay, so when my son says to me, "Don't worry, Mom, I'll look after you, I'll keep you safe," but he runs around and does the stupid things that he does with me, and when he's not getting his own way for whatever fucking reason, or he's got displaced anger, or he's frustrated with the world in general, and he figures I'm a safe fucking deposit to just dump on, you know, in terms of that displaced anger that has nothing to do with me, but I'm an easy target because I'm Mom and I've been putting it up with it for years. I'm sick of it, people. I can't stand it because, like I said, people in my situation, the blinder we get, the more we become a statistic, and we tend to die off. I think it's 60% of people, 65%, 65, something like that, 60 or 65% of people who end up going blind end up dying within the first 15 years of going blind, statistically. That's a very high statistic. And I don't feel that great, people. Because your body, your mind, everything is constantly under stress. And you wake up thinking, oh, it might be a good day, and it's not. It's actually worse than it was yesterday. which adds more stress. And then if you get bullshit crap coming in from friends, lovers, kids, who knows? It just, you don't have the coping skills like you used to, because your brain is overworking just to be able to see. So, I don't know how I broke my nail. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this problem, because I am somewhat codependent. But then on the other hand, people, he can fucking move out, because if I was to move out and go move into an apartment, I'm looking at $2,000 a month just to pay for the fucking apartment, and that's a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment. And we're talking old apartment buildings, old gateway place where I lived before, and for a 3 bedroom I paid $800 a month. Now it's fucking probably $2,000 a month for the same damn problem with the cockroaches, the bed bugs, and the mice, and the crazy people roaming the fucking halls because it's considered low income. So if I'm facing $2,000 a month for that, I can cover the rent here by myself until I can find a fucking decent tenant that can move in and maybe keep an eye on things and help me out every now and then for a little cheaper rent. I'm serious. And my son can fucking grow up and get the fuck on and learn the hard way. Seriously, being that he's ungrateful for the few things that he does have with me. Because I'll be damned if I'm going to sit quiet and stand back and let him throw out the fabric and the food just to accommodate I don't know what. Well, his wife continues to do what she does, which is nothing. Like a big fat fucking zero. Other than poke the bear and get my son to go get her something else that she wants at the expense of sacrificing his own mother to get it. Yeah. Pretty much. She's no different than Julian Johnson, people. She's no different than a fucking Austin Luck. The only difference between her and them is she's not so loud and violent. They were men, she's a woman. She's more like Joan, sneaking around, plotting, scheming, planning, putting the ear in the ear and geeking them up and getting them to think that they thought it for themselves, so they'll go off and sabotage me in terms of Uncle John, right? Making John choose me or choose Judy. But don't choose Judy, because if you choose Judy, you're going to have problems with me. Well, she's the same fucking way. Don't choose your mom. You have to choose me. Give to me, do for me. It's all about me. Your mom's a piece of fucking shit, right? She hollers at Andre. Well, yeah, if you put up with the crap that I put up with Andre, you'd holler at him too. But you don't. You just get little bits here and little bits there on a good note. Always on a fucking good note. But you don't go around cleaning up after him. Hell no. I do that. Just saying. Anyway. So I'm just I'm going to wait. I guess I wait for court. And then he can embarrass himself in fucking court. And then he can move out. And this is why you need food prep. Because when he moves out, I will have absolutely no money to buy any kind of fucking groceries, not even a stitch of groceries. Nope. But I'll be able to get us through for how many months until I can find a responsible person to move in downstairs and be happy. Literally, just be happy that they got a safe place to live with stability, I guess you could say. Right? Because I've got the food in the house. I've got the powder milks. I've got the fruit. I got the vegetables. I got the meats. I got the grains. I got the fucking wheats. I got the sugars. I've got the egg powder. I'm trying to go through the list here, right? I got the condiments. I even got freaking Worcestershire sauce, for crying out loud, okay? And I got them in big bottles, right? So, get the fuck on, right? Fuck, I had to do it. People. When I had my kids, my mom said, oh, don't, that's it. You're never moving back in the house. I'm not helping you, not even for 5 minutes with those kids. And she'd never even babysat for 5 fucking minutes. And then after Sierra was 8 months old, she died. And that was it. Not once did she ever look after Brooks or Sierra. Not once. No, she did nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. I told this to Tisha. She said, oh, your mom was bad. No, why did she do that? I said, well, it wasn't that she was bad, people. It was, Tisha, I said, it was, she taught me to take responsibility. That's what she did. Oh, yeah, sure, maybe she didn't want the responsibility or whatever. But at the end of the day, I was either sink or swim, and I swam. And that's why, and I told Tisha, that's why I'm still here today, right now. Even with everything that I do in a day, with them always on my mind, I'm like facing my own dilemmas. You know, I'm walking a fine line between life and death here, people. I really am. And my son is I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. But he's gonna get what he fucking wants here pretty soon. And then what? Oh, woe is poor mom. She was a good... No, fuck off. I was not a good mom, because if I was a good mom, you would be treating me better than the way you've been treating me. You know? And he's not. He's taking advantage of the situation. And he's expecting too much from a poor woman. And then he gets mad. Oh, well, you shouldn't have done the non-profit. You shouldn't have looked after a Gary. Well, I looked after a Gary because social services, MCFD, Ministry of Children and Family Development, back in that day, I had moved out of my house because welfare cut me off of welfare illegally. I moved us into a 2-bedroom apartment from a 5-bedroom house that we lived in for 8 fucking years. It turned out to be a shithole with a bunch of water all over the place. Landlord running around acting like it was a freaking concentration camp. So I moved my family out of there because clearly it was unsafe within 3 months of moving in with no fucking money, people. I had no social services, all right? I just got credit cards. That's when I started racking up my fucking credit cards. And then I moved us into a shanty shack because that was all I could afford. And then it was a 3-bedroom on the upper floor of a 4-plex. Okay? And because that's all I could afford at the time, right? And what do you call it? Within a month, I realized that the woman downstairs, who was the owner of the house, was leaving a little 11-year-old. Well, she was less than that. She was 8. She was 8 years old, leaving her alone all night long by herself to sleep downstairs in this fucking shanty shack. I said to John, Jesus Christ, like, what the hell is going on? Turned out Sarah, the mother, who had schizophrenia, was delivering newspapers downtown as her husband basically abandoned her in this, right? Because she was fucking cuckoo, right? And he didn't give a shit. And I said, holy crumb, like, you know, whatever, right? I ended up calling social services. I said, look, you know, the woman, the owner, like the owner of the house is leaving her little girl downstairs. You know, she's only 8 years old and she's gone like from this time and she's not coming back until 7 in the morning. And like, you know, anybody could have busted in and raped her, people. I was so fucking scared for this little girl. Anyway, social services came, blah, blah, blah. And, they wouldn't give her any services, even though she was mentally ill. And they basically gave me an ultimatum. They said, look, you know, if you stay, live, because I just moved in. They said, because she came up and she said, oh, Judy, they want to take Gary away from me. Please, please. You know, they said, if I can get a babysitter for Gary, they won't take her away. Can you please watch her for me at night when I go to work to deliver the newspapers? I just fucking moved in, people. I racked up like $4,000 just moving my family out of a house I was in for 8 years into a fucking 2-bedroom apartment. I had to move out of there within 3 months. This all cost money. I'm losing my shit. Okay, and I said, well, gee, Sarah, I guess, you know, like, yeah, because I can't move, because she said that if they took Gary, her husband would come in, kick her out, basically kick out the mother, the owner, the other half of it, right? Kick her out and sell the house, and I wouldn't be able to live there. And like, I was exhausted, people. Not only was I exhausted from the trauma of it all, but you know, I had no fucking money outside of my credit cards and a little bit that John had in those days, because his pension was small in those days, right? That's why his sister waited until he got old. Anyway, to snatch up on him, right? Anyway, so Ministry of Children and Family Development came by. Sophie, she's still running around being a social worker. And they said, look, if you look after her, we won't take her away. But if you don't look after her, we have to take her away. And I said, well, if you take her away, I'm going to have to move. They said, well, you choose. Which one do you want? And I'm like, well, okay, I'll look after her, because I couldn't move my family and I couldn't afford more rent than what I was already paying there. They never paid me, people. Nope. But they left her, and I lived there for 3.5 years looking after Gary while Sarah went to work 5 days a week, or whatever it was, every fucking night on a bus downtown, and I'm living in Surrey. That's a 45-minute bus ride. Like, right? Delivering her newspapers in high-rises buildings, office buildings, or wherever, and then coming back and coming in at 6, 7, 8 in the morning, and Gary would get up because she got her own mattress. I slept on the bottom of the bunk with Shimei and Tisha this way, and I slept at the end of the bed this way like a damn dog. Well, Gary slept up on top and get up in the morning, and all the girls would go to school in the morning together because, you know, Sarah wasn't around yet. Maybe she was, or I don't know. I just know that girl lived with us, basically. And Marquin got resentful because he felt that I was catering to Gary and not to him. Because when we get into arguments, he used to bring it up all the time and throw it in my face. And I tried and tried to explain to him, Marquin, if I would not have looked after Gary, we would have not been in that place, and I don't know where we would have went and how we would have got there, because I was already exhausted with all energy, resources. They have moved twice already, and I had to make the decision just to stay put. And because it was a little bigger than an apartment, I chose to stay put. And to this day, he still holds it against me, people. Same thing with the nonprofit. Oh, you spent all this money on nonprofit. Why didn't you buy a house? Edgar's mom could do it. Well, that's Edgar's mom. She wasn't with Uncle John, who was blind and was dependent on people to look after him. I looked after Uncle John. Okay, that was the first thing. I couldn't leave him at home with the kids. I had to be there to look after him and the kids. And I couldn't go to work because of that manufactured poverty under that legislated, well, you can't do this, and you can't do this, and you can't, but you can stay on welfare. Unless we cut you off illegally. And then we'll falsify your records and say, no, it says in your records that you asked to be cut off, which is a bunch of fucking crock, because when I got Andre back, when I was fighting for Andre, I had to deal with social workers there, right, to, you know, for the court, and they come and and I told them what happened, and then they came back, and then one woman said to me, no, that's not what it says in the file. I said, well, what does it say in the file? It says that you removed yourself out. You asked to be cut off of welfare. I said, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. In the middle of fucking winter, I'm going to ask to be cut off of fucking welfare? Yeah, right. Bunch of crock. And then when I filed my lawsuit with Shimei, I wrote it in, and then they came back and said, well, it's too late. Statute of limitation. You should have taken us to court when we cut you off of fucking welfare, even though I only had 30 days to get the fuck out of the house after being there for 8 fucking years with 5 kids and Uncle John in the middle of winter, as if I'm going to take my government to court. Do you see how they play dirty fucking pool with you and mind fuckery? It's just on and on and on and on and on. Right? But I did what I had to do, people. And like, my son is just expecting me. I don't know what the hell he's expecting from me. But really, just go back to this girl's mother's and father's house and go fucking live with them for a while. Get your fucking cheap rent on there. And if you want to have a baby, I'm sure they can accommodate. They'll have the energy to help you with the baby, because as if I got the energy, right? Because ain't nobody helping me really with Amari. So, you know, and like don't, like, fuck, right? And even if I did what my son wanted me to do, there would be something else, because it's already in him. It's like they want me dead, and I tell them, like, I'll be dead soon. Oh, yeah, well, that's what you make me fucking feel when you start this stupid crap. Oh, you're just, no. I walk a fine line, and it doesn't help when you're stressing me out. And if you're that unhappy, Move on. Don't threaten me with court so that you can stay and have the right to throw out perfectly good food that I spent thousands of dollars on, and on fabric that over the years I ended up working in the yard for so long, for so hard, for just nothing other than to go fucking blind. And now I got this fabric that maybe, just maybe, my daughter, my one remaining daughter, might be interested in after all this time. And you want to throw it out? Fuck you. Fuck you. So I'm like, well, how can I disconnect? I don't even know people. Because if I try and pull away, not take the bait, and if it frustrates him, he'll just pounce and then he'll really start insulting me, trying to hurt my feelings, calm me down, maybe make more threats. Who knows? I don't know. I just know I can't deal with it. And ever since this girl came into his life, it's gotten worse. Yeah, okay, I put up with the Gary thing for years. I put up with, oh, you know, you did the nonprofit. Okay, but now it's like he wants me to give up my life. You can't. You told me you weren't going to do any more food prep. Why are you making sausages with Andre? Why are you repurposing canned fruit when you told me you weren't going to do any more food prep? Well, I'm not. I'm finishing up with the food prep. Recanning the fruit that's in a can that if it sits there for another 3 years could very well go tinny taste and nobody will want to eat it. Versus if I can it up in the next 6 months, well, I can still see with or without help, right? It will be edible for 5 to 10 years, if not longer. And there's no money lost other than my time and being ragged for it, because my son seems to think I don't have the right to do that because I work on his fucking time schedule now. Because he doesn't want me putting anything more in Auntie Shemai's room, not because he doesn't want it in there, it's because he wants to take everything that's in there and throw it out in the fucking porch, out in the garage and out on the street, so that he can accommodate his wife, so she can have a baby. As I prop up their fucking hydro and their rent and everything else because it's cheap rent, right? And she can just sew up a Dickens and use up all the fucking hydro, smile up in my face when he's standing there and then glare at me when he's not. Yeah, okay. Fuck off. Fuck off. So I'm going to just try hard not to talk. I'm going to try so hard. I'm not going to eat. He cooks, right, sometimes. And I've been taking, right, because I let my guard down, and I've been busy, so I've been eating their food, but I'm not, no, I'm not, I can't, I'll fucking starve before I fucking eat that food that they want to send up and give to me out of the kindness of their heart. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. You want to feed Andre, go ahead. There's lots of food up here. Andre's not going hungry, but if you want to fucking pass some along, go ahead. But when I say no, 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 and 6 months go by, you need to stop and really fucking think about it. And that's assuming we're not in the middle of court by then. You want to take it there, go ahead and fucking take it there. Be a proud man how you treat your mother. For whatever fucking sick reason. For whatever fucking sick reason. Right? Like I said, my mom, get the fuck out. I wasn't even living with her. She just said, look, don't ask me for nothing. I ain't not even watching the kids for 5 minutes. You want to have a baby, you're on your fucking own. Tisha said, oh, that's a terrible thing, terrible thing. Why did she do that? I said, because she wanted me to fucking grow up. That's why. Sink or swim. And I've been swimming ever since. And I get no love or respect for it. No understanding. No help. Anyway. So I guess this is a prac 1. This is a curing salt. I don't have my glasses. I don't know what this is, but whatever it is, I think it's a binding agent. It's mustard. Dry mustard that's specifically processed to bind meats with when you're making sausages, bolognas, and those things. But you can also use skim powder milk, which I've got tons of people. I'm laughing. I don't know. I can't see it. I don't got my glasses. Whatever. And I also have little smoke, this powder smoke, right? I have that over there. I'm gonna put it back in the box. And then you do it in this little container here, and it has a thermostat. So we're gonna do that when this is all said and done. Do I consider that to be food prep? No, people, that's not food prep. That's just teaching Andre how to make his own food with like sausages, sandwich, sliced meats, like ham and turkey and chicken and those kind of things, and hot dogs, bologna, right? Because this is just, that little thing was just for the sliced meats, right? Whether you use chicken, ham, chicken, pork, beef, or turkey, right? To make luncheon meats, right? And with or without nitrates. That's why I got the cookbook, because I wanted to encourage more without nitrates, right? But obviously we'll be using nitrates as well. I'm going to move this over here because we've got another box. Oh boy. Maybe I can do this. This might work. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, it's like a teeter-totter. So there's that box. He's mad at me for that. You said you weren't going to do any food prep. You're lying. Why are you making sausages with Andre? You can't do that. I'm like, what's the matter? Like, there's something wrong with you. Like, go away. Like, shut the fuck up. Since when do you tell me what I can and cannot do? And I can still see it. Can you imagine what it's going to be like when I'm really fucking blind? Like, fuck off. Go away. Like, go away. I don't want to be anywhere near you, man. No way. You can go fool yourself. You're not fucking fooling me. You know? And then, because we're doing sausages, right? We're going to make sausages, hot dogs. You can make salamis. You can make bologna. You can make pepperonis. The whole 9 yards, right? I am thinking about buying a little smokehouse, electric one. Not because I'm trying to promote smoking of meat with nitrates. No. It's just I'm trying to give Andre a skill before I die. You never know. He might get good at it, and it might be something that he can create himself a little business with. Or maybe somebody will be interested in hiring him because he knows how to do it. And he can come on as an apprentice. I'm just saying, right? Or maybe he just wants to do it for himself and for whatever remaining family he has left. Wherever he may end up after I'm gone. I'm just saying. So, to get us started, little kit, right? These ones here, original blends. I don't know what it's for. Snacking sticks. Oh, I guess they're like little pepperonis. Okay, I didn't open that. You already seen that little hand tube that I did for stuffer, right? You seen that? That other 2.5, 3 foot freaking Stasha stuffer is over there in a box. I haven't even opened that box yet. But that's when we do 11 pounds, 22 pounds at a time. I got a little, you see? That's a little thermometer so that when you do the hot dogs, you have to cook them after you stuff them. And you got to bring them to a certain amount of temperature so that you kill off any bacteria, and then you can eat them cold. You don't have to recook them or anything. And then you can freeze what you don't want, and you can eat it just like that if you want after the fact. Who knows? So yeah, I got that because it's one. You have to, after you stuff the hot dog, you have to smoke them if you have a smoker, or preferably smoke them. But we don't have a smoker right now, right? Or you can just well, you'd still have to put them in a pot and then bring them to, you don't boil them. You just bring them to 155 temperature. And once it reaches 155 to the point where all the hot dogs that are in the pot are pretty much at that temperature. That's why you go from hot dog to hot dog in between the pot to make sure that you're not getting one at 155 and one at 130. You want to make sure that, you know, they're coming in at 155 before you take them out of the water. Then you put them into cold water, and then you cool them off, and then you air dry them, and you take off their skins, and you're good to fucking go. And you can do that with or without nitrates, or you can smoke them with the nitrate if you want. I'm going to show Andre, hopefully, people, my life has been cut short here. I'm going to show Andre all three ways. We're going to do without nitrates, some with nitrates, and then eventually we'll do nitrates with the smokehouse. These are casings, different sizes. Some are sheep casings, some are hog casings, and some are, cellulose casings. And they all react differently, right? They all react differently. This is just a little sausage spice, right? This one here, summer sausage. I haven't even opened that, so this is enough for 22 pounds, I think, to make. And you can make 1 or 2 pounds at a time if you prefer to do it that way, to which way we do. These ones, I'm pretty sure, have nitrates in them. But that's okay, right? As long as you're not eating it like that all the time. And then when you're doing your hot dogs, and you got them in the pot and you're boiling them and you're getting, well, you're not boiling them. You're bringing the temperature up to 155. It's also recommended that you use a turkey thermometer, like, you know, from a turkey fryer. So you put this in your big pot with the water in it, and you not only monitor it here in terms of the temperature of the water, but you also take that other little device and you poke the actual hot dog itself to make sure that it's 155 internally before you take it out, and then proceed to process it further from there. We're going to do this. This. I don't consider this to be food prep, people. I consider this to be learning life skills. Okay? You know? And then we've got this one here, which is original hot dogs. I bought 2 boxes. They were expensive, $40 a box, but they didn't have that much left. And I think I bought the last 2, maybe even, right? And that were available. Whether they come back or not, I don't know. I got enough, though, to get me through for quite a few years anyway. A couple, 2, 3, maybe 3 years. 1 to 2, 3 years, depending on what's going on. And then I just put everything into the one box. But here's more casing, right, just to stuff the sausage. This here is, I don't know what this is. Hog casing. Andre will be going, ew, hog, what is that? I'll be, well, that's the lining of the guts, the intestinal tract. I'll say, yeah, but that's how they do it, Andre. Right? And suck it up, toughen up. Right? This one here, vacuum sealed, packed in salt, is sheep casing. So these are natural, right? Where these ones are probably the cellulose. As a matter of fact, I should be writing on them what they are, just before, because by the time comes, I'll forget everything. And then for the hot dogs, up to 22 pounds, but we'll be making 1 or 2 pounds at a time. That is it, right there, times 2. That's a lot of hot dogs, and that's with no nitrates. And then I bought the book, which as soon as I opened it, I came into summer sausage without nitrates. Where this summer sausage, this one here, this one, has nitrates. And then after we go through both recipes, by that time, I won't have to buy these anymore. because I'll know exactly what I'm doing because I've had enough practice, and will more than likely have a smokehouse. And if Uncle Marcaine is around, if he's around, because I don't know from one day to the next what's going on with him, seriously, because he's a tree cutter, you know, he can bring home wood chips from specific trees that are good with specific meats, and he can get involved with the process. And before my son will know what to do, my grandson will know how to do it by then. Yeah. I'm just saying. But I'm not allowed to do this because I said I wasn't going to do food prep anymore. Whatever. It's just stupid shit. So I got it nice in a box here, so if I was to die tomorrow, if I was, because I do feel like I'm on a Charlie watch here with my eyes in terms of I don't feel anything like I feel when I could see. Right? And since dealing with this freaking eye doctor, I feel 10 times worse. They'll open the box and they'll be like, and don't forget, we got a 2.5 foot, almost 3 foot freaking $300 and some odd professional commercial sausage stuffer over there. So they're not dickering around when they do it. They'll be like, what was Mom thinking? Oh, yeah, okay. Go to the grocery store, buy your processed fucking sausages, assuming that you can find them. And when you find them, right, they're going to be extremely expensive. And then what? Whatever. Do you know that homemade sausage is the best of the best of the best? My mother used to take me up to Mundare, up by Beggarville in Alberta when I was a kid. Because that's where we're from. Mundare. Because she had family up there. I don't know, somebody up there. And on the farms, right? And she used to buy sausage, kupasa, it's called kupasa, that they made out on the farms. Oh, man. You can't even find that in the freaking grocery store the way they made it, people. So, you never know. I might be able to find a recipe or create a recipe or something to get that back. Alright. And then, of course, we know I bought this. More so for Andre, to try and make him feel comfortable to learn to can, because I won't be able to do it much longer. And if my son had his way, I wouldn't do it anymore, because he told me I'm not allowed because I said I was done doing food prep. Like, fuck off. Like, go away. So hopefully Tisha and Andre will help me this year at some point. Maybe just do tomatoes. That's all it takes, people. It just takes a few times doing it. That's why I miss Shimei so much, because she came up and she said, Mom, I want to learn how to can. Can I help you with the pickles? I said, yeah, that'd be great. I've been waiting, right? You know, and she did, and she screwed on the cap. I forgot to tell her, not too tight. Anyway, she was right. She put it, and we put it in the canner, and needless to say, the jar cracked, right? Oh, she goes, oh! I said, Shmay, don't worry, it happens. But I think you screwed on the lid too tight. And she did. And then she was murdered, people. She was fucking murdered. Go figure. Sierra just didn't have it in her. She was captured at age 13 with methamphetamine, And once the handlers in the community, we basically know who they all are, got a hold of her, I never really ever got her back. And then when we did get her back, after she had Andre, right around, got pregnant and within 3 months off the dope and onto the methadone, and she had Andre and she stabled out and everything was good until the social worker showed up and kicked her out in the fucking street in the middle of winter. That was it. It was game over. So, with Tisha now saying, gee, Mom, don't throw away your tents. Don't throw nothing away. Let me pick through it. And I'm like, no problem, Tisha, because it's just going to come a day. Or, take it. No, I don't want, you sure you don't want? I said, Tisha, take it. Because I'm not going to be able to see it very long anyway. So it doesn't matter. It's better if you have it than end up outside on the curb or in some donation bin for all that I did with and for charity. I'd rather my daughter have it first. And if Andre can learn how to sell it online first, that's even better. If neither one of them happen and I'm gone and it's still sitting there and my son doesn't want it, I'm not there to see where it goes and it won't matter. Even if I was alive, I still wouldn't see it, so it wouldn't matter. So my son might get what he thinks he wants soon enough, but the only thing is, I ain't sticking around. I will find a fucking way to run away before I allow him to continue to do what I'm doing. I never put up for long with an abusive man in my life, and that's why my kids didn't have a father, quote unquote, because I wasn't willing to allow a man to beat me physically, emotionally, psychologically, for any length of time. And I just basically was a single mom doing the best that I could, and but it doesn't give my son a right to expect me to hand over my life just so that his can be easier, especially when he brings somebody into the house that basically despises me. Yeah. For whatever reason. Because she's like Joan. Joan was the same way. To which, if you had to put a male face to it, it would be an Austin or a Julian. I'm just saying. Julian despised me. Austin despised me. Joan despised me. They were jealous, that's why. Joan wanted to control John. Julian wanted to control Shimei. Austin wanted to control Sierra. This girl wants to control Marcane. Well, my son is lost, staring off into yonder with a whole bunch of other men, captured by being zombified and not realizing what the fuck is really going on in terms of his behavior and shit. So, hold on a minute. Okay, so I'm basically gonna finish this video. Now my nose is running. I'm starting to hack. I was sitting on the floor with a lot of dust, opening up boxes with a whole bunch of crap in it. Right? And this stuff gets delivered to my house. So other people touching packages, to which I do believe there's still some sort of shedding going on. Because sometimes when I touch this stuff, after the fact, I get runny nose, eyes start to run, itchy throat, want to cough, all of a sudden get congested. But besides that point, I'm going to cut these down now, because obviously they've met the top of the light here, and they're starting to burn. This one's going into a position of wanting to be flowering here pretty soon. You can see just by the way it looks, right? But I'm going to chop it off anyway. So I'm just going to take a pair of scissors as best as I can, and I'm going to cut them down so they can start growing again. Okay? And I'm going to dehydrate them. That's what I'm going to do. And they taste fine. Okay, this is some bok choy that I bought, about a week ago, I guess you could say. As you can see, I just cut the end of them. They were nice and clean, but I cut the end of them anyway. I put them in the dirt, and they're starting to grow. Okay, you can see that. Aloe vera, this one here is just going nuts. It loves it. So this one was a little sickly one, so it hasn't looked like it's really taken root or anything yet, but anyway. You can see these guys this one here especially, are starting to get a little more bushy. And these are edible. You can eat these, and that's why I'm growing them. Not trying to grow them to plant this in the ground. I'm growing them so I can cut this off and put them in something that I want to stir fry with. Okay? Only I'm trying two different methods. I'm doing one with water. They say change the water, but I'm not changing the water. I'm just topping off the water. Okay? And it seems to be doing fine. Here, I put this one in the dirt. It didn't even have roots. Andre, please! It didn't even have roots, but I'm sure it's rooting now because it seems to be somewhat growing. Now, my lighting is probably too high. This is where it would be nice if my son would go up there and freaking do something for me and bring it down a bit just because, right? But whatever, it's okay. I'm not bothering him. I don't actually ask him for very much of anything anymore, people. I really don't. And after yesterday or the day before, I'm not even going to ask him for nothing if I can help it. That's the only way you can remove yourself from a toxic relationship, is try and break away from the codependency of one. But yeah, this guy, this one there, and you can eat these, right? The gelatin and stuff, you can actually eat them, right? So those are happy campers. And then we've got some lettuce in here. So when I bought the lettuce, the last 2 times, I cut them. You can see they're starting to grow, right? And that little teeny weeny lettuce that I bought for $3, I showed you, right, how big that was. It was nothing. I just cut off, you cut off about that much. And then you put it in the ground and try not, you leave don't try not to have it above the ground a little bit, right? Otherwise, these start to rot, And then it's not long before, I can almost guarantee you this thing will be rooting within the next, unless it starts to spoil. 1 or 2 things will happen. You put it too deep into the dirt, and it will start to spoil. Or within a few days, it will start to root. And it will start to sprout. And then you start getting little lettuces growing. So just with those 2 lettuces, that's $6. So hold on. Okay, I've been hacking ever since. My nose is running. I'm going to ask this eye doctor to change these eye drops. Because these eye drops that he gave me have 2 different kinds of medicine or something. I don't know. He changed, it's 1 drop a day. But he changed the drop, because I used to have one medicine that was 1 drop a day that didn't seem to make me like this. And not only that, but dry out my eyes at the same time, right? Whereas, and he changed this. Andre, shut up! When he changed the eye drop, I don't know, everything just got worse. Everything's gotten worse since I've been seeing this guy. So this is what I got. Can you see? They're starting to get a little fried on the end. Some of these are really long. But that's okay, you just pinch them off. Because, right? Now, the celery that I had there, at one point it was growing, but I don't get in here and water it probably as much as I should. So it looked like they died, but that's whatever. This is just a little experiment, right? And if I can get a nice little head of lettuce, save myself $3 here, $3 there, another $3 over there, why not, right? And you have to remember, when you cut them off, they just start to grow again. Right? I even got some grass for the rabbits. Look at that. A little bit of grass for the rabbits. And some other little green thing. I don't know what these are, but we'll give them to the rabbits. Why not? I'm not eating grass. I will eat sweet potato, what do you call it? Leaves, but I won't. Stir fried with something maybe. But I won't. I'm not going to eat grass. And the onions, you know, for what it was worth, you're paying anywhere from 97 cents on sale per little thing of onion, right? And I mean, this would be enough for salads for a while if you keep them fresh, and if not, just dehydrate them, you know, or just chop them up and let them air dry, and then sprinkle them on things. Now this one had more. This one here, not so much, but you can see I left it, right? So I'm going to add in, I don't know, I'm not, next time I buy, do it online shop or send Tisha or whatever. I don't know, I can't see what's going on here. I'll buy another thing of onions, because oftentimes what happens is I process the onions, I cut the nibs, I put the nibs in a container, and then I get distracted and it takes a while for me to come back in and put them in. So maybe I'll send Tisha, that's what I'll do. I'll send Tisha to the grocery store before she leaves, right, for her holiday. And I'll tell her to look for some green onions with the thicker part where the root is. Where some of these were really small, but they're still coming in. Like I'm not complaining. That didn't cost me a single cent, other than a little bit of hydro for some lights. I mean, no, so that's the end of this video. I don't know. I realize times are tough. Everybody's scared to one degree or another, except for those that are living comfortable, committing heinous crimes, capitalizing off of trafficking of body parts, and, you know, laundering money through the underground economy, and through the dark web, and through the housing market, and or even those people that are actually honest people that make good wages for what they went to school for. I'm not saying everybody's a criminal, but we have a lot of that in British Columbia, Canada, where the other 75% of people are basically living paycheck to paycheck and have bleak futures, right? Unless, of course, they inherit something. But then if they inherit something, they become like Uncle John, where they're at risk to be kidnapped, murdered, whatever, just so that their inheritance can be stolen from them, whether dead or alive, you know, or whatever. But even still, everybody at some point, you know, I don't got that many years left on this planet. I think I'm going to fall into that 65% category where when a person's going blind, statistically, they don't last no more than 15 years, and I'm already going into 2 years with this issue. And since working with this eye doctor, it seems to be rapidly progressing faster and faster, going blinder and blinder. The only thing is, it's not what we normally think blindness to be in terms of everything going black. In my case, everything is going white. And I can't distinguish things when they're pretty much in similar colors, right? Like with the silvers, the translucents, the yellows, the pale oranges, those kind of things. And even when I can see them, since having this eye surgery, you know, he fucked my eyes over. He made everything blurry, literally. And even if I was to wear dollar store glasses, they still don't work. So I'm hooped. I'm like completely hooped, which makes you depressed, right? And then with depression comes sickness, because, you know, it's hard to bounce out of it, especially if you're constantly being pushed into it, and that's what going blind does, you know. So. But I'm a knucklehead, right? If my son wants to take it to court, so be it. Go ahead, embarrass yourself. The judge will be like, "What kind of son are you? Harassing your mom before she goes, right? Why are you wishing her into an early grade? It doesn't make no sense." Because whatever you think you're going to get, you're going to end up losing it in the end anyway. Right? With that type of attitude, that is. Or if he's just patient, he's going to get it all anyway. So, and it'll be like when I say to Tisha, I don't care what you do with it because I don't see it anymore. What do I care? I don't even know what you're showing me. I can't see it. What is it? Tell me what it is, because I can't. Well, maybe I can feel it, maybe. But what does it mean to me? What can I do with it? Nothing. So, in that situation, maybe patience might be a virtue. Something my son should fucking figure it out. So I gave everybody some water with a little bit of plant food. Right? And I have a little light here that I have on it. Well, I don't know if I have it on a timer. But I'm just going to turn this off now because I don't want to come back in here. It runs on a cycle, but I have to line it up with these ones. Technically, this lamp here, up here, should be further down because otherwise the plants will try and bolt for the light. But I'd have to climb up on a chair, and I don't even know if I could reach that high with the way my eyes are. And of course, I'm not going to ask my son to help me because, God forbid, that's asking maybe too much, right? It's just opening up the door to be insulted. So, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you, motherfucker. I'm going down scrapping. I'm going down scrapping. Yeah, that's what's going to happen here. Then I put this thing. So it's not so bright. That. It's because I was on the floor where it's really, really dusty and dirty. And then I was in those boxes that have been manhandled by a whole bunch of people with freaking spices and everything. Casings and whatever. And then I got into the onions, and they were throwing off histamine as I was cutting them. So yeah, I'm in rough shape. So what's going to happen now is I will convert this video over, I will upload it, and I am basically just going to get ready for the next round of buckets. Right? Because I kind of like doing the bucket thing. That was kind of interesting, I would think. Right? There's a couple of more. I got like those 2 square ones, and I think one more round one. I don't really know what's in it. And I got buckets of macaroni and stuff like that over there. I mean, that's whatever. But before I can get into those buckets, I have to wash some jars. I'm going to just use the jars that I just got for what I'm dealing with right now in terms of these buckets. And then after, I got a little more panela sugar that can go in a jar. I might even jar up that darker brown, quote unquote, Dementora or whatever sugar into jars. And whatever, just whatever's kicking around that I just want to. And then, if I need to, which I probably will by the time it's all said and done, I'll probably have to order another case of 2 of one time. Well, probably 2 cases of 1 gallon jars times like 4 per case, so that's 8 jars at least. With any miscellaneous I might have left over with what I'm doing right now. And then I'm going to do that sticky rice. Yeah. Because when I was bagging up the rices, I'm pretty sure I took out all the rices out of their bags, plastic bags, because I was filling them up in 1 size gallon. I'd get a bucket. I was putting them in buckets with gamma lids and stuff, right? And, or big Mylar bags. I have a couple of buckets with just 5 gallon Mylar bags full of rice. Or I was doing the 1 size gallon bags. I'm trying to show you. 1 size gallon bags. put 3 or 4 on the bottom of the bucket, and then I'd fill from bag to bag to bag to bag to bag until I got just enough. Put the oxygen, it closed a bit, just enough there to put the oxygen absorber in. So yeah, I did the majority, if not all, of just the regular rice that were in plastic bags. I took them out because I don't like to store food in plastic bags. I just don't. But with the sticky rice, it was so small. I think I did leave them in the plastic bag, and then I put the plastic bag into the Mylar bag because I felt that if I didn't do that, I don't know, I just didn't feel like it was stable enough without the plastic bag, and I think, so I'm going to take them out anyway. I'm putting them into jars. I'm not leaving them in Mylar, and I'm not leaving them in plastic. It doesn't matter if it's, doesn't matter if it's in Mylar, doesn't matter if it's in Mylar, or plastic in Mylar. I'm not leaving the sticky rice there. No way. No way. Oh, it's so funny with Tisha. Well, I ended on this note, a funny note. I was, when Mark Kane was, I phoned Tisha and I just let her listen, right? And she goes, and then we started talking about food prep and, just da-da-da. And, she started like, well, are you going to get this? And I'm like, well, no, I don't need it. And, well, are you going to buy jars? And I'm, well, no, I don't need jars, except for the 1 gallons, right? And that's just to finish. Are you going to get, like, vacuum seal bags with the vacuum sealer? And I'm like, no, I don't need them. I have those too, right? I got oxygen absorbers. I got Mylar bags. Like, I could be doing food prep for a long, long time if I wanted to. Do you see how many extra Mylar bags are in there? That's a lot, right? And I don't plan on doing it, but if something comes in, right, I don't have to worry. I might not use this for 4 years from now. It's not going to spoil. Once I'm done doing what I'm doing, I'm putting these away. I don't want to look at them for a long time. This is a 2 gallon. Beautiful. Ziploc. This is a 1 gallon. Perfect. Ziploc. Oh yeah. Oxygen absorbers. All of it. But I'm at the tail end. I don't need to use it. But if I ever need it, I have it. Same thing with the vacuum sealers. Got a bunch of jars over there, but the jars I'll probably end up using for the fruit in the can. But other than that, the only thing I want to do next year is maybe tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. Can those. That's it. Right? And anything that they want, if they want to, right? Try something. Oh, Mom, I want to try this. Can you teach me how? Blackberry jam. Oh, there you go. I'll show you how to do it. I even got you a nice canner pot for it. But yeah, no, she kept naming all these things, and I'm like, I don't need it. I already got it. No, I don't need that either. I already have that. No, I don't need that either because I got that too. If I need it, I already got it. I don't have to, right? I don't need to buy it because... But it doesn't mean I'm going to go off and buy another 1,000 pounds of wheat. Hell no. I already got 1,000 pounds of wheat. And my son wants to throw it out. How does that make any sense, people? It doesn't. He expects me to protect him from the world. Basically. Right? I can't do that. Because it's all going to end up coming crashing down anyway. So, I think teaching my grandson how to make sausages is a noble thing to do. I think teaching my grandson and my daughter, well, she'll learn how to make sausages too, so will Leia May. Because we're going to do a family day with it, right? But, like, with the canning, right? I'll invite Tisha over, and even if she doesn't do a whole lot, just being there will start to build that knowledge. And my son will, what are you doing? You said you weren't going to do no more canning. You're doing food prep. Where are you gonna put it? It's a mental illness. And I was saying, Pop, it's tomatoes we grew in the greenhouse. Right? If you don't want to eat them, you don't have to. Tisha's gonna take some home with her. Like, go away, man. And take your negative energy and your toxic personality and go someplace else. Yeah, you like to go to the grocery store and spend $4 for a can of tomatoes when it costs you practically nothing to grow them in a fucking greenhouse and pennies on the dollar to be freaking canning them? Like, shut up. Go away. Yeah. So, it's nothing I can't handle, right? Okay, I guess I'm going to finish it on this. So, after I get this all said and done with, I got my juicer here. I haven't had a chance to use it yet. I think I'm going to juice some celery. Celery? Drink celery juice. I hear it's supposed to be good for you. I need to detox out. Anyway, these are it. You can see, I already cut them up. There's a fair amount in there, people, for nothing. Just a little bit of time. Like, for what it would be worth. That's a lot. I mean, obviously I can't see everything, so I missed. I tried to take off those as much at the ends there, right? But you can see that's a lot there. And I put some in my mouth. I gave them a little bit of a rinse. I put some in my mouth. And you hear it. They got a nice little bite. It's going up my nose. They're actually got more bite than when I bought them at the grocery store. And then I left a couple for that little teeny weeny lettuce. Got a bit more lettuce in there as well. But whatever, Andre wants these for noodles. So I'll leave these out. I'll put them in a bag. And eat up my little $3 lettuce. And there's another lettuce in there. It should be okay. Right? So, you can get these little grow lights fairly cheap. And the plastic, or not the plastic, that shiny stuff that I got from when from that little house over there. The one with the mutiny, the house that I got for Sierra to try and get Sierra off the street. When they tore down that house and taking it all apart, that's what that shiny stuff is. It's the insulation between the wood and the vinyl siding or whatever. Anyway, but you can go online on Amazon and you can get these little rolls of shiny material for grow rooms. It's really not that expensive, and it doesn't require a lot, depending on what you're doing. But you know, little things like this makes a difference, right? Why not? Just a little bit of time. It just takes this corner of your house, small little room, not too much. Put it in your bathroom, whatever, wherever. And this is what's making me more, you know. Oh yeah, these are good. Really good. I just wanted to cut them down though and get them going right into the dehydrator because, and these are thin, because, like I said, when I put these things in, you know, they sit in a bowl for a while and I don't necessarily get them in the dirt right away. So by the time I do put them in the dirt, they might be like half deteriorated. So that's why I had so many small ones. But we'll see. We'll see if they come back and if they get thicker or what. One side did really well. The other side with the celery kind of died off. And I only had a few in there for whatever reason. Maybe don't mix celery with green onions. If you're going to try and do the celery, which will grow, give it its own pot, away from the green onions, okay?